Planning and Zoning Commission. I will start by reading the rules and procedures. The Plan and Zoning Commission is generally an advisory body to the City Council. The City Council will hold a public hearing and make the final decision on all matters before the Commission other than site plans and subdivision plats, unless denials or conditional approvals thereof are appealed. The applicant will be given 10 minutes to present the request. Proponents and then opponents from the public are then allowed to speak in that order, with each speaker allowed a maximum of 5 minutes. The applicant is then allowed 5 minutes for a rebuttal. The hearing will then be closed and the commission will discuss and vote on the issue. All comments are to be germane to the item under consideration and speakers are to maintain a courteous manner. Items listed on the consent portion of the agenda will not be individually discussed and will be considered for approval in accordance with the recommendation in the staff report unless an individual present or a member of the commission requests that the item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately under the public hearing agenda. First up, could we have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting? Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, motion passes. And we will move to the first public hearing item. This is a request from Sherman Lodge number 576, Independent Order of Oddfellows, for the following regarding property located at 2340 East 9th Street. Determination as to whether the requested rezone is in conformance with Plan DSM, amending Plan DSM to revise the future land use classification of the property from low-density residential to neighborhood mixed use, and rezoning the property from N5 neighborhood district to RX2 mixed use district to allow the reuse of an existing building as a small event venue. And Sriyoshi will present for staff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sriyoshi Chakraborty, Planning Staff. This item before you for your consideration today is a request for the property at 2340 East 9th Street. And the request is to rezone the property from N5 neighborhood district to RX2 mixed use district. The applicant is requesting to allow reuse of the existing building on the property as a small event space. This is the subject property. It's along East 9th Street. This is located in the Union Park neighborhood. This area is primarily residential. This area is primarily residential in nature. There is some higher density residential just to the immediate north and west, including a children's home, a nursing home, hospital, clinic type facility, and then a church a little further north. But outside of that, it's primarily low density residential. The Union Park recreational amenity is further south of the property. And so the area in general is zoned N5. The existing use on this property is a fraternal organization that has been utilizing this building as a small event/activity space for their organization. It's a legal non-conforming use within the N5 district. So this is just some background information that the applicant submitted with their rezoning request. Just gives some information on what they are intending to do. Here you can see the project description, some information about the site, and what they are planning to use it for in the future. This is also a concept sketch that was submitted by the applicant. Please note that this is just a very high-level concept sketch, not a site plan, but kind of shows the intent of the future use of the property, which is to retain the existing building, not to make any changes, but and then utilize the existing paved parking area off of East 9th Street. Here are some site photos of the subject property. This is the driveway off of East 9th Street. This is looking north. Another view of the existing building. And a close-up of the entrance to the building. another view of the driveway that kind of wraps around the building. And this is the parking area that is mostly to the rear and side of the building. As you can see, currently the parking area is completely paved. There is no landscaping. The parking also immediately abuts the residential uses to the south. You can see there is practically very little separation and no buffer at all between the residential use to the south and the parking lot to the north of the subject property. And this is just a view of East 9th Street and shows the character of the neighborhood and the houses along the street as well. The proposed rezoning request does require a land use plan amendment from the low-density residential use to neighborhood mixed use. Staff believes that the requested rezoning fits the intent and character of the neighborhood in general. This is a very small-scale commercial use, and it is essentially an extension of the existing use, non-conforming use of the property. But because the proposed use is, again, a non-conforming use within the N5 district, it does require rezoning and requires to be brought into conformance with the correct zoning district. However, staff does think that because of the location of this particular building, because it's surrounded by the residential uses, staff does recommend that the property be rezoned to a limited RX2 district, which provides some restrictions on the permitted use of the property, and also requires that the site be brought to compliance with some of the requirements in Chapter 135, including improvements to the parking lot and providing some buffer from the residential uses to the south. I did want to note that the subject property is located within the Union Park Special Investment District, which does identify goals to activate small-scale commercial uses within the neighborhood, which this proposed use would fit the intent of that particular goal, and therefore any rezoning opportunities to support these kind of small-scale commercial use is encouraged, and staff is supportive of it. Should the applicant decide to sell alcohol for on-premise consumption on the property, they would be required to seek a conditional use approval from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Currently, the applicant does not have any plans to sell alcohol for on-premise consumption. With that, staff is recommending approval of the requested rezoning of the property to a limited RX2 district, subject to the condition that any use as permitted and limited in the NX1 district or an assembly and entertainment small use. And the second condition is any use on the property shall be in accordance with an approved site plan pursuant to Chapter 135 and to the satisfaction of the Planning and Urban Design Administrator. The applicant conducted a neighborhood meeting as required for any rezoning. They received one neighbor in attendance and had a separate phone conversation. Here is a brief summary of some of the concerns that was discussed with the applicant, and I'll just let you read through this. We did receive a email from the Union Park Neighborhood Association. The Neighborhood Association does not have any objections to the proposed rezoning. We received a few comment cards as well. This is in support of the request. Another card, and then another card in support as well. This is the consent map. And with that, I'll answer any questions that you might have.
I've got one. Could you elaborate on what we would require for the buffering? Does it have to be a fence? Or could it just be landscaping, the buffering between the parking lot?
Do you want me to answer that?
Sure.
Sure. The code would require a fence and landscaping. You know, certainly we can work with them to, the code allows us to make substitutions if we feel like there's a reason to. Yeah, I think we'd also have to look at, you know, should some of that pavement be removed? You know, yeah. So I think we'll balance the, assuming this all, you know, everything moves forward and staff is looking at site plan, we're going to balance the needs of both the applicant and the property owner, and there's going to be some expectation that buffering is provided at an appropriate level.
One more, is that sketch, which I realize is not a site plan, showed 2 curb cuts, and I only saw 1. Is that, are they adding another one? We all know how contentious that gets.
Yeah,
Yep.
we haven't sorted that out with them. I mean, that's what they're showing, adding a second one. I mean, we'll have that conversation with them.
There's only 1 right now.
Right. You know, that's the layout of their parking. Actually, I'm trying to quickly visualize.
Yeah, this is not exactly
It's
to
not quite
scale.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and based on the approximate measurements, they don't meet the spacing requirements for 2 driveways. So that's something that will be reviewed during the site plan, and if they don't meet the spacing, they cannot do it.
I have a question about the small zoning. Does small, quote unquote, have a maximum number of people that can be, you know, participate at one time for an event in the building? And what, if there is, what is the maximum number?
It's up to 2,000 people.
2,000?
Yeah, subject to building code.
But I think you have to, you remember the occupancy is regulated both by what's a very broad number in the zoning code, but also then the building and fire code regulations. So I suspect this building's not large enough to hold that many, but I could be, you know.
It's about 4,900 square foot, and according to the applicant, you can fit about 40 on-site parking spaces.
Any other questions? Thank you. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
If you'd like, you can come forward. You have 10 minutes. Please state your name and address for our records and sign in on that white sheet when you're done.
All right. Well, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Elijah Macharia, and with me here today is Sonia Gaines. She is my realtor. I do invest in properties in Des Moines and looking to invest in this particular property for an event space. The reason I was interested in an event space, and it was set up perfectly for this because it was kind of built for something similar, it's because I realized that whenever folks want to do baby showers, they want to do small weddings, the spaces that are in town are pretty expensive, and sometimes it's hard to get into their schedule. So I figured we could come in and fill that space a little bit. The biggest concern that folks had was, will this be a nuisance? Will we have concerts and cause a ruckus in the neighborhood? And we guarantee that that's not what we're going to do. So we will not be getting an alcohol license. We will keep hours of operation that are not going to go late into the night. If we have small weddings, we'll be required to have an off-duty police officer there. So a lot of these things made folks pretty comfortable because we had a meeting, a neighborhood meeting, because I had to send letters out to the neighbors. And I got phone calls afterwards. Those who couldn't come to the meeting at the coffee shop called, and we discussed. And the biggest thing was they wanted to make sure that it's not going to become a nuisance. And yeah, so yeah, we're looking at small corporate events, baby showers, graduations, small weddings, stuff like that. Yeah. So, any questions?
Any questions for the applicant?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this item? Neutral? or opposed? Please come forward. Also state your name and address for our records and sign in when you're done. You have up to 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Ryan McDonald. I live at 2323 East 9th Street, which, as you can see on the map, is just to the southeast of the property across the street. And I guess I'm going to speak in opposition of it. I can't comment on the intent of the folks who have presented this plan, but what I can give you is a little bit of history of the property. I've lived in my home for about 10 years. The International Order of Odd Fellows in the past has rented this space out to other groups who have had different kinds of parties. And so probably for a 2-year period, there were parties frequently on Friday nights and Saturday nights. Police were called. There was alcohol there. I don't know if they were in violation of zoning restrictions previously in enabling events like that to happen there, but it was becoming a nuisance. I think another group they rented it out to during the day. There were issues with cars parked that were encroaching on neighboring properties, like 2320. And then, at least in the nighttime events, the noise and bass thumping was so extreme that, like, my kids couldn't sleep. And so I doubt that folks in the nursing home, I doubt that youth in the transitional home to the west of the property were able to get much rest either. And so I don't know even honestly who owns the property now. I don't know if they're buying it or what the situation is. But it was a nuisance for a long period of time. I would suggest that parking, I don't know all the codes and things, I would suggest that parking is drastically inadequate for the space. And East 9th is a fairly big or busy street, and so when events were had there, the parking lot would quickly fill up. There's no way you can get 40 cars in that parking lot. Like, that is a dream. And so the street gets clogged up, cars on both sides, visibility is trashed, and there are, almost some accidents and fender benders as a result of that. The property's not really in good shape. There's like a rotting shed type thing on the back of the building. So I don't even know if it meets the code, but that's probably beyond the scope of this discussion. So all I want to say is historically, events held there have been poorly administered and have been a nuisance. But it's largely sat empty for probably 2 or 3 years now. I don't even know if the fraternal organization is still functioning, but it would be my opinion that you should not change anything. I mean, in a perfect world, I would prefer it be bulldozed and invest DSM build 3 houses, because you could easily get 3 plots on that land. So that's what I would like to see, but yeah, that's really all I have to say. I guess questions for me, or is that, I don't know if that's how this works, so.
Thank you. Applicant, you do have up to 5 minutes if you'd like to respond to any of those concerns.
All right. Yeah, so same concerns were raised by others, which was nuisance. And I wish we had met earlier when I sent out the, because the same issues were raised. We will not be having parties. There will be no alcohol sales. The place will shut down by 10 o'clock at night. We will focus on only allowing family-friendly events and corporate events. So we will not be doing, concerts or any of that stuff. With regards to parking, I noticed that we don't have a very well marked parking lot. It was kind of just, so if it's not organized, you can't get enough cars parked in there. But once we have a site plan and we have somebody come in and be able to mark that out, I think there'll be a better way to park cars on the parking lot. So we will take very seriously making sure that space doesn't become a nuisance to the neighborhood. And I believe we have everything that we need to make sure that that's the case, including the security with off-duty police officers as well. So then there's a buffer. that I think when we were talking initially, there was a suggestion that we should have a fence as well and some trees spread out so many feet. And that would add an extra buffer between, especially if, I do believe it's between the building and his house. So we will have a buffer fence as part of the requirement of the landscaping that we're going to do going forward. So, yeah.
Oh, there is one question for you, I think. Go ahead.
So, I'm Matt, nice to meet you. So I might have missed it, but you have the property under contract right now?
Yes, it's under contract, contingent upon the approval of this council.
Okay.
If it's approved RX2, then we'll go ahead and close on the property. If it's not, there's no need to own the property. Yeah, so for ownership, we're not just renting the place, we are buying the place. And so with ownership, we'll make sure that our property is very.
So
well
you're
taken
buying it from the people that,
Exactly.
that had the,
Yeah, from the order
Bad
of
history.
Odd Fellows, yes. Yeah,
you're not affiliated with them?
no, not at all.
Got it.
Never heard of them until I
Yeah.
went to buy it. I was like, oh, Odd Fellows, interesting.
Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, I'll close the public comment period and open it up to the commission for discussion and votes. Motions.
I'll just comment that I do understand the neighbor's concerns and appreciate him voicing those, but it does seem like a good project, and it's in a neighborhood that needs something like this, so I am in support of it. So if any of my fellow members would like to comment or make a motion, such as certain people who may be their last meeting, that would be wonderful.
I frequently run by here with our chair Leah, and I do think it would improve the neighborhood as well to have that fixed up. So I am also in support, and I would move staff.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
Just to clarify for that, I heard it mentioned, I want to make sure you understand, they're making a recommendation to the city council. They'll ultimately make the decision. Yep, okay, just want to make sure.
That's on the 25th, right?
Okay, we have 3 orders of business. The first is that it seems like our next meeting may not happen because we don't have any items on the agenda. So keep an eye out for further instruction about that.
With this item not getting, the only reason it was going to happen is if this item got continued, so the meeting is canceled, we'll be sending out notice. We had no items.
Okay, number 2, we will be in our new venue at the new city building downtown for our next meeting, and I think we'll get further instructions on that topic as well.
Hopefully by early next week at the latest.
Great. And then, last but not least, is that this evening is our last meeting with Emily Webb. Emily has served on this commission for 7 years. She's on many other boards throughout our community, so I want to personally thank you for your service here and in other capacities around our community. And I believe there is a certificate for you and for John. Is this your last meeting too, John?
Yes, it is.
It is. I know I'm a bit of a short timer. I think I've only been about 9 months, so I don't expect anything at all. But it's been a pleasure to serve with all of you.
Certificate.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Really do.
And
Yeah.
if you would like, if both of you would like to say anything to this crew, the floor is yours.
Well, I brought cupcakes, so if you're voting, I did bring cupcakes, and it's a threefold reason, which is it was my birthday on Tuesday, and it's my last meeting, and it's our last meeting here. So there's a lot to celebrate, and I felt like it was a good time to cut ties, given that I've only been in this room, and I don't really want to be in a different one. But I've been serving for almost exactly 7 years. I started in 2019, and we went through COVID, and that was interesting. But I feel like I've grown up here with the city. This was one of my first public service opportunities, and I am incredibly grateful to have been a part of all the good work that happened here. But good work is only done because of really good people. And so I'm so thankful to have met the staff and all the commissioners here. Thank you for your relationships and for attending, for putting your hearts and souls into this work. So I really appreciate it. I know it seems like it doesn't matter sometimes, but we know this stuff really matters and makes an impact. So don't be a stranger. I'll always get coffee with any of you, so I'll miss you. But I do think I can find some things to do on Thursday nights. So. And don't forget a cupcake.
I cannot top that. But I would love to be on this commission for many years if I could. I'm moving to Ankeny. Don't hate me for that, but I'm excited to move. But thank you. It's been a pleasure just serving with all of you, and I'm a little bit of a dork. I'll probably be watching on YouTube still. So thank you.
Okay, anyone else have any other items? Great. Meeting is adjourned.